So one of the most challenging parts about what we do is that we're working with nature. So we are very reliant on the natural seasons and what the farmers can provide for us. We have a strong emphasis on using local produce. And there's been times where we've stuck so strong to our mission that we've had to shut down shop because we actually cannot source any local bananas or products that we need. And other times where we've had to have that tough compromise and bend on our vision so we can just stay open for a few more days until we can source the produce that we need. So I guess to answer your question, a mess up would be just timing. It takes a lot of planning to do what we do, and forming strong relationships with our suppliers has been huge, and it becomes easier and easier the longer you're in business because now we are one of the biggest customers for the banana farm that we supply to, so we're a big priority for them as well.
I think yes. I think so everybody talks about your MVP, your minimum viable product, and I think even thinking that through and having that be part of my creation process for Pono Home, I still managed to create a product that was a little messy. And I think for an entrepreneur, it's always a temptation to go find more things and incorporate everything that everybody's telling you. You're getting feedback from all these people as you're doing your market research. And I think that a really critical thing is to put them all down on paper and keep them there, but really focus on a couple of things that can make money, that have an impact, and that people want, your customers want. And start off with those really small things and just test those and make sure that those are super fluid. I think when I first started the company, it was lighting, showers, faucet fixtures, smart strips, all the implements of a home that can help make it green. And those were great, and that's what helped get the thing started. But then it was, let's educate about GMOs, let's do personal care ingredients, let's look at people's shampoos and identify carcinogenic ingredients. So I really bit off more than I could chew at the beginning. And in addition to trying to create way too big a product, I also was franchising, which was way too early to be franchising. If you franchise, you really need to have a couple of years of success before you start to expand that model that way. So those were kind of things that I think I would have done very differently if I started it now today.
So I wouldn't call these necessarily mess ups, but I'd call them more learning experiences because I've learned a lot. So I had pretty good capital coming in, and what I want to do is I want to reinvest into small business. I wanted to find guys that had good ideas. I want to invest in them. I make a portion of the profits, but I'm also helping someone else with their idea. Which I love. That's what I live for. I want to help other people do their ideas, especially when it comes to small, local, and just out of the blue great ideas. So that's what I started doing. Now I'm not no millionaire or anything like that, so I don't have tons of money to be throwing around. So it's kind of pick and choose what I was doing. But I ended up picking a couple new businesses that I helped out in and put some money into, and it ended up that I just straight up didn't do enough research. I wasn't in the field long enough before I invested money into it, because there's a lot of things, especially when you deal with farmers and fishermen and people like that. You really got to know what you're dealing with, because they're not necessarily salespeople. There's fishermen, there's farmers, and then there's your sales guys. And I try to trust a lot of these fishermen and things like that, and just kind of went astray a little bit. So I just didn't do my research enough before I invested money and time into an idea. So. Again, it wasn't a mistake. It was just something I wish I put more time and energy into before I actually invested in it or put time into it. So definitely, you just got to figure out what you're doing before you just jump in both feet. So that's kind of what happened.
I don't know about mess ups, but I know I don't feel comfortable with corporate taxes yet and all the laws. I didn't realize laws you need to document all your board meetings. So now I'm going back and I'm oh my gosh, what have I been doing wrong? What do I need to fix now in terms of taxes, corporate setup, and just making sure I understand those laws as a corporation versus a DBA.